Hello YouTube, this is El Director and you're watching El Director Vision. Today, on my lunch break right now at work, as you can see I'm here in the office. I'll give you the 360 view. Woo! Very cool. I decided to do another Q&A video to answer some of the questions that you guys have left me on the Q&A video. So we'll just go ahead and we'll start off up at the top here. Let's see, hey man, when can we see more survival shows? Also, how do you feel about growing edibles in the wild? Well, as I mentioned yesterday in my last video, the new Surviving the Wild is coming out hopefully in 2 weeks. And then in a month I'm shooting one with my dad, doing a father and son special. And then just a few weeks after that, I'll be doing my By the Book special. So be looking for those. I should have 3 new shows in probably the next 3 months, I'd say, given the time it takes to edit them and that kind of thing. As well as we've got Becoming Born, which is more of an urban survival and escaping the cities and that kind of stuff as well. As far as growing wild edibles in the wild, if you're in a survival situation, I would say don't worry about bringing seeds with you or anything like that to try to grow your own food, because most survival ordeals only last about 72 hours before you're either rescued or self-rescued. If it starts becoming a long-term thing, then yes, you might want to start cultivating some of the wild edibles that you're harvesting. If you're looking to get out of the cities, and it's more of a evacuating, avoiding martial law kind of scenario, you know, whatever, bugging out, then yeah, I definitely would say that seeds should definitely be part of your bug out bag, especially heirloom seeds, which you can replant year after year after year, which would be really good, because in all honesty, it's going to be very difficult to get enough sustenance off of just hunting and trapping and fish, and quite honestly, we're reaching a point in time where eating animal meat is probably not the healthiest and safest option for us anymore either. So definitely something to keep in mind. I would say living off of plants is probably the best way to go in situations like this. And if you're worried about protein, you can get just as much protein, if not more, from nuts and seeds and grains and plants than you can from eating animal flesh anyway. So just something to keep in mind. Next question says, do a video telling us about yourself. I am now 29 years old. I am an independent filmmaker. I've shot 3 feature films. I've done over 40 short films. Film is one of my biggest things in life. When I was 22 or 23, somewhere around there, I was challenged to start studying the Bible for myself, and so I did. I took 2 years of study and not going to any churches, but just reading my Bible on my own. And at the end of the 2 years, basically realized I needed to become a Seventh-day Adventist because it was the only church that I found that matched up with what I'd found in the Scripture. So I figured out what I believed, and then I went looking for a church that matches what I believed, rather than letting the church tell me what to believe, because I think that can be a very dangerous thing to do if we put our trust in other men like that. As far as I have, you guys all know Keeper, my constant buddy and companion on the show. So I have the dog. She's about 9 years old now, I think, at this point. And I do a lot of parkour. I love staying in shape and staying active and fit, and parkour is just a great way to do that. I'm a former martial artist of 14 years. I have a first degree black belt in modern Kempo, and done some martial arts instructing as well, but now I focus primarily on just the parkour stuff, and I've kind of moved away from the martial arts and karate in general. I do still train a little bit MMA, but not a whole lot of that kind of stuff. It's a next question from Citizen Kane 380. Do you know of any all denominations Christian organization devoted to uniting Christians in our similarities and less focused on our differences? I do, actually, and what you're talking about, Citizen Kane, is called Ecumenism, and the Catholic Church is a huge proponent of it, which is not a church that I don't think we should be following that church. So yeah, there's a church that's promoting it, and unfortunately all the other churches are starting to get behind the Catholic Church. In fact, just recently, this guy Tony released a video. He's in like close cahoots with the Pope, and released a video explaining how we are all Catholics now and the protest is over, because Protestants have lost their protest, and it's sad. So yeah, I am not in support of ecumenism. I believe that our differences is what's going to set apart God's true people in the last days from the rest of Babylon, which is apostate churches and that kind of stuff. Hate the New World Order asks, what do you do on Sabbath, and how is it different than any other day? And is the movie Derek still coming out? Well, if I'm not preaching on the Sabbath, because I do travel and preach at a bunch of different churches here in the Northwest, I am usually studying in the mornings, And then if it's colder outside or I don't feel like going outside, kind of a thing, I'll usually put on some sort of a spiritual movie. I like the Ten Commandments. I like watching a lot of truth videos too. Like anything by Walter Veith. Dr. Walter Veith is amazing for me to watch on Sabbath. I also like watching Revealing God's Treasure or which features Ron Wyatt, an amateur archaeologist who found like Noah's Ark and Sodom and Gomorrah, the Red Sea crossing, the real Mount Sinai, all this stuff. Really, really cool. I love archaeology. It's a huge interest of mine. I've got another movie idea that deals with biblical archaeology, which I think would be awesome. How's it different than any other day? Well, the rest, I have 3-day weekends where I work, which is really cool. So Fridays, I'm usually cleaning house and running errands and chores and that kind of thing. Sabbath is my day of rest and spending time with God. And I love to go hiking, especially on Sabbath. That's a lot of fun to do. Go up to a mountaintop and just sit there and contemplate just how magnificent this world is that He's created. And then, sometimes I'll start thinking, oh man, this was all destroyed in the flood, like 4,000 years ago kind of a thing. So it's like, I don't know, it's really amazing to just sit and be still and listen and know that He is God, as the Bible would say to do. Is the movie Derek still coming out? He also asks. Yes. The question is when. I really feel like I need to do Leap 3 first. The message in Leap 3, the messages I should say, are just so important for this day and age and the time that we live in right now. Derek, its main focus is what we would call the state of the dead, what really happens when you die and that kind of a thing. And we will be touching on that a little bit in Leap 3. So Derek will just dive into that in more detail. So I want to do Leap 3 first, Leap Revelation, and then we'll go on with movie Derek. However, I want to start doing more short films to showcase kind of the effects and this quality that you can expect from these movies and also still get the messages in them. And so I'm going to be doing a short film version of Derek here very soon as well. So be looking for that. I don't know when exactly, but keep following the channel. We'll keep you updated with posts or with dates. And then I got someone else asking, what do you think about the Branch Davidians? I am somewhat familiar. It gets confusing, and a lot of people don't realize you got Branch Davidians and then you got Shepherd's Rod. And a lot of people think that they're the same. They're actually different, is my understanding. I've dated a girl who is Shepherd's Rod, so I'm somewhat familiar with that kind of stuff. Honestly, I've read the book. I didn't see a lot of stuff that seemed out of the ordinary to me. But at the same time, I didn't see anything that really intrigued me to want to study it out, any further. So I don't really have an opinion, I should say, one way or another. What I do know, though, is that, especially within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, because Branch Davidians and Shepherd's Rod are spin-offs of Seventh-day Adventism, there's a lot of Adventists that have misconceptions about the Branch Davidians and Shepherd's Rod. Like so oftentimes lumping the two together and putting words in their mouth, and it's a bad thing to do. If you want to know about Branch Davidians, go find a Branch Davidian and talk to them and say, what do you believe? If you want to know about a Seventh-day Adventist, go find somebody like myself and ask, hey, what do you believe? If you want to know about Presbyterians and Charismatics, go find them and talk to them and ask what they believe. Don't take another denomination's word for what they say another denomination believes. I mean, that's stupid. It doesn't make sense, right? So find the people that are actually practicing this and are more knowledgeable about it, and that's probably going to be your best bet. So anyway, we will end this video now. We'll keep it short and sweet. We're running at almost 9 minutes here. But as always, post your questions for me in the comments below, and we will answer them in a future episode of Ask L. And yeah, so until then, I'm L Director, and this has been L Director Vision. See ya.